Okay, we're calling to order the April 5th, 2017 meeting of the Township Council for the Township of Lopatcong. We would take a few moments in silent contemplation and prayer. Oath of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Beth, would you want to do the roll call?
Councilman Del Caro, Councilman Polito.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Council President Pryor.
Here.
Mayor Ted.
Here. You have your little blurb? Yeah, motion to come out of executive session. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Second. Aye.
Council is in executive session for a little over half an hour. Topics of discussion are as listed on your agenda. Lopat Emergency Squad, personnel matters regarding the building department, attorney-client privilege, sewer matter, and contractual opus. We did not discuss number 3, contractual LAA. We will go back into executive session at the end of the meeting to discuss both that and a personnel matter regarding the police department. Minutes from executive session are available at such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
Okay. Thank you. I believe that we today have with us a representative of the Phillipsburg Library who has a brief presentation to make. If you would please come up to the podium.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm Deb Messling, the director of Phillipsburg Library, and I'm probably a poor substitute for Ed Bullock, who is our president of our board. And some of you may already be aware of what we're proposing. Is everyone aware that the Phillipsburg Library is losing our relationship with Warren County? That happens as of July 1, 2018. And, of course, that's a heavy hit that we're taking. We have been looking at alternative ways to structure library service in Southern Warren, and talking with library leaders at the state level, we came up with the idea of a joint municipal library, which is not unprecedented. We have Morris and Morris Township, Chester, Chatham, Bedminster, Far Hills. So it's been done successfully before. And in looking at the numbers and looking at the the county library taxes that the southern townships pay, I mean, quite frankly, we could save you money. We have, all of this is subject to an agreement, to negotiation, but we have been looking at some numbers which could potentially save Lopatcong up to 18% over the library taxes they're paying the county. And it would maintain library service for Lopatcong residents who have, in a way, voted with their feet. About half of the Lopatcong residents have library cards, which is an excellent penetration for library card holders. And you get half of your whole population with a library card, you can be happy about that statistic. There is a legal, of course everything has a statute behind it. It's transparent, it's public. It goes to the voters through a referendum. Goes to the referendum, they decide that yes, we will withdraw from the county system, join in a new joint municipal library, and then there's a 2-year period where sort of a cooling off period, or that where you're still with the county until the time comes for you to leave it. Benefits, obviously the lower library tax, which benefits not only the people that use the library, but the people that don't. If you're not going to ever use the library, you might as well pay lower taxes to not use it. Also, it would give the townships that participate direct, statutory representation on the board. You would always be guaranteed a seat on the board and direct governance over the library. It means that the kids of Lopatcong who are going to Phillipsburg High School would still have a library that's walkable for them and convenient, with just about every modern resource you would want. Our physical plant needs a little help, and people probably know about that. We're working on getting a new roof this year. But we have the technology resources, the digital resources that any library does, and a collection we're very, very proud of that has been built over the years, that we were an area library for the whole county. So we are proud of what we could offer the residents of all the townships. That's sort of the facts of the matter. Do people have questions of me?
Anyone on the council have a question?
I can comment.
Sure.
I've been a member of the library since the 70s, I guess. I have no complaints about Peter, that's for sure. But we're faced with a choice here, and I've read through the statute. There's a lot of moving parts. The proposal that's been presented, it was based on assessed valuation. We would wind up paying more than P-Bird, even though we have far fewer people. There's other alternatives. Lots of discussion before this thing comes near.
Oh, of course.
Winding up, I mean, there's an agreement to be negotiated, and there's an ordinance. It's only after the ordinances that it goes to referendum. And the way I read the statute, once the referendum passes, it's done. You can unwind it, but it's essentially following the steps, the same steps going out. I think for myself, I have questions about the numbers. I know, I don't know what your budget is. You seem to be talking about operating budget. I know a portion of the building goes back over 40 years. I'm sure you're going to have
69,
capital.
I think.
You're going to have capital needs. All that stuff would have to be fleshed out. And I couldn't do a one-sided evaluation. I would have to spend time with the county and understand their proposal as well as I understand yours. So I'm willing to put in time, but I think, you came in, I think we'd have to talk to the county too. I didn't have the same numbers you had. I got a list of everybody who had library cards, and it was not half. I don't know, I counted 1,321 names on the spreadsheet that I was sent.
From me?
I wonder how we did that.
That was just a spreadsheet. That names of people with the Lopatcong.
Yeah,
So,
our automation system shows that we have 2,800 and change.
all right, so there was something there that has to be worked out. So there's a lot of things to be worked out on this proposal. I think we have to get the facts on the other side too. So.
Oh, that's absolutely. And ultimately, this is between municipalities, not even between, certainly not between library staff and not between library boards. It's between the municipalities.
Yeah. Then there's a question of who all participates. I know you're talking to 4 towns, right? Or yourself and 3 others. Maybe 1, maybe 3, 2.
I mean, obviously, the best of all possible worlds is you have the 3 southern townships. Do we have incredible optimism that that's going to happen? No. I mean, Greenwich is a heavy lift. The new proposed library is smack in their township, even though they would probably save the most money by staying with us. But how do you know, that's the reality there. No, we're not asking anybody to buy a pig in the poke. Obviously, I'm dealing with the residents of Lopatcong on a daily basis, just knowing their faces and serving them individually, and we feel the passion that this issue has engendered over the past year. People like us, and Lopatcong is other than the town of Phillipsburg, is our second biggest municipality that patronizes us.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
It's the way it used to be when I first moved in. I mean, sure, library board, couldn't you just offer Lopat residents membership for a fee?
Oh, yeah.
And then those who wanted could pay it? They'd still get hit with the county fee, but I mean, I look at my cable bill, it's really not too much difference to join a library, an extra library if I want to.
Oh, it's less. It's probably less than your cable bill.
Yeah.
Right now, we charge $60 for a yearly fee for a non-resident.
Well, I mean, that's a very good deal. It would offer a chance for Lopat residents. I'm sure you'd recompute that if, when everything goes through. But I suggest that's an option as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then those who are interested could pay a small, a reasonable fee to come over.
I mean, that anybody who wants to, just as they do now from Easton or Hunterdon County or whatever, people that pay to come, is that as sustainable for us? And again, we might have to look at that $60 figure, knowing how many people would want to continue to use us.
Well, that would also give a chance to monitor the memberships and see what the demand is.
Mm-hmm.
Referendums are funny. You look at people who turn out, even, we have a gubernatorial election coming up. I guarantee you, turnout's going to be low. And you have a low turnout for a referendum like this, you can have a few people swing all over the field. So that's another one of my reservations. Personally, I'm going to devote some time to learning more about the county's offer over the next, 2 months or so. And it seems to me with the time frame, this is something that it doesn't have to be done tomorrow.
It would be nice, but no, of course not. There's some time, and we want this to be because it's kind of like a marriage.
Yeah.
So you want it to be, well considered and factored.
2 years before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anybody has any questions in me now or in the future, we're pretty good at finding answers.
Okay. I would like to see your existing budget.
Sure. Oh, sure, absolutely. I can get that to you, tomorrow.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks for coming by.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go into, let's ask for a motion to go into open comment, agenda items only, public comment, agenda items only. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have you any questions, those of you who are in attendance? Sir? Beth makes everyone come up to the podium.
In regards to the presentation that was just given, I've used the Phillipsburg Library since the 70s also. It's convenient. I certainly wouldn't want my taxes going to the Board County library system, and there's not a library close where I can use. And they're building this new library out near the Honda place that they don't really need, in my opinion. I thought the freeholders were very irresponsible in what they did. And I would encourage you to go and really take a good look at a partnership with Phillipsburg Library.
I think you can be sure we will do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir?
I would just like to thank you, Joe, for bringing up about that personal membership, that anybody in Lopatcong could join it, or we could go into the county library. Is an
seemed to
alternative.
work well back in the day.
It is an alternative. They used it in Belvedere for a long time.
Thank you. That would appear to be it. Take a motion to close public comment, agenda items only. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to old business. First item, approved minutes, executive session and regular session for the March 1, 2017 meeting. Take a motion. Or is there any? You, motion? Okay. You got it?
Second.
Second. Any discussion on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved, second item, approved employees meeting with New York Life Insurance representative Michael Raub to address life insurance policy. We covered this at a past meeting, I believe. They're going to come in. Employees don't have to join it. It's purely optional, correct? Okay. I'll take a motion to allow that.
Motion.
Joe made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second. Okay.
Jim, you're Insurance guy, you familiar with this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was here at the meeting.
There's no downside to it right now.
No, okay. So no further discussion, then I'll ask, I guess, all in favor? Aye. Okay, new business. Now, we have to add an item to this. Motion to lien property on North Prospect, Block 11, Lot 13. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have to vote that one?
Yeah, I'll vote.
Yeah, let's vote roll call.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Fires?
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Let's see, another item to add. I'm going to, at this meeting, appoint Carlos Carrera to the planning board to fill Mark Corral's vacancy that he created. And so that would mean Carlos would be there until December 31st of 2018.
Are you sure that that's the one who would replace and not Casello, the vacant?
Which one is that? We have... I think, didn't
We had someone
Donna
that
Schneider, didn't
replaced-
she replace Priscilla?
I don't know. I don't have the paperwork in front of me. I have to go look.
Yeah, it must be, because that was 2020, and Corral was on for 2 years already, so it couldn't be him. So it would have to be the one that's shown as vacant on here, which would be the Corral one. I'm looking at the thing from the website.
Okay.
So that's 12/31/18. Let's see, next thing. Authorize mayor to execute interlocal service agreement with the county of Warren for 911 telecommunications services. This is recommended by the chief, is it?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Chief, could you explain what that is real quick for me?
The agreement between the county communication center and the local police department as far as the communication center
And that's the same arrangement we've had for
I think the last agreement was the last 10 years.
10 years.
It was worth the last 10 years.
Thank you.
Even municipalities that use the state police, they're asking to sign this agreement too. So the other municipalities all got the same version you did.
Okay, so I'll take a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll take a second.
Second.
Roll call. Extend your contract.
Yes. Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Fires?
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Yes. Resolution number 1748, award non-fair and open professional service agreement with Louis Eisenberg, MAISRA of Eisenberg Appraisals, for shared restricted appraisal report regarding Phillipsburg Mall tax appeals.
I think you already approved this. This is just a formal
Formal
resolution.
resolution. Do I have a motion?
Make motion.
Do I have a second? I'll second that. Roll call, please.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Fires?
Yes.
Mayor McKay.
Not yes.
The Township of Lopatcong already passed the same resolution in their town to share the other side of the cost, so they're already signed up.
Good. All right, next item, which is item 5 now, I guess. Illusion Maker would like to be approved for 2 programs at the elementary school at a cost of $600 each to be funded by the Clean Communities Grant. Take a motion. No motion? Okay, I guess it does. Next item, resolution, public comment on aerial spraying program for gypsy moths, approved. No pesticide application between time frame of 6:45 and 7:45 a.m. as discussed by Phillipsburg School District and Lopatcong School District. Do I have a motion?
Well, is anybody here that has any concerns with the aerial spray program? Had to be advertised in the paper.
It was advertised, right? Yeah.
And
So you should probably open it up public
Yeah.
comment.
You want to open this up? All right, we'll open this up to public comment if I get a motion.
I'll make that motion.
And we have a second. Second. All right, we're open for public comment on the gypsy mold spraying. This resolution would not allow spraying between 6:45 and 7:45 in the morning. Anyone have any questions or anything to contribute on that matter?
Beth, this came from the school board, the school district?
Yeah, I contacted her, letter, and email actually, each school district and the superintendents of each of the districts wrote back that the time frame, they each presented their time frame within 5 minutes of each other, but 6:45 to 7:45 a.m. is the time period where there is no children standing outside of a bus stop, when the spray, is applied. So I actually have to have your blessing on that because there's 2 school districts. You have to decide if yes, that's the one. And it's just one of the conditions in this long list of conditions to get to this, to be able to get the spray done.
And it really doesn't jeopardize the program. The program can accommodate this, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Well, I guess we close comment?
Oh, yeah, a motion to close comment. Oh, there's a question.
Robin Woods is 3 Greystone Avenue. My only suggestion is to extend that to 8:15 for the walkers in consideration of the kids that walk to school. This way you're really covering your
Well, they
behind.
only offer a 1-hour shutdown.
Oh, darn it. All right, that was my only suggestion.
Okay, motion to come out of public comment.
Motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And the shutdown time period.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Do we have a second? Yeah. We got it, all right. All in favor? Aye. Next item, renew the service maintenance agreement with Jack Lear Electric in the amount of $6,100 for 2017. That's for this building, right?
Brian's here to talk about it. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's actually for all the buildings, every building we own. All right, I believe there's, you see it right there. All right, 6 split systems, 1 Sanyo, 3 boilers. All right, and there are people that came in. If you look at the pricing, I think we're happy. They upped to $25 from last year to this year. All right, they came in. We've had other companies that we just weren't happy with. They've solved a lot of problems. We're in the middle of one right now trying to solve it. But they seem to be the best that we have so far. I'm very, very happy with them. I had priced out some other ones and they just didn't, come in. One came in at slightly a little bit less, but he didn't offer the 15% off of parts and labor. All right, so it would have came out at the end of the year. I think we'd been well above where we're at. All right, so my recommendation is to stay with Jack Lear Electric. All right.
Okay, thank you, Brian. All right. Based upon Brian's recommendation, I'll take a motion to approve this.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
We got it, all right. All in favor? No, we have to do roll call.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
And
Yes. Okay. Now we have consent agenda. I'm going to suggest that we move number 9 of the consent agenda into its own category up with new business. And then we do the rest of we do that by itself and then do consent agenda. So, Resolution 1757 authorizes the temporary emergency appropriations for 2017 operating budget. The current fund is $922,508 and sewer operating $132,650. I took a quick look through it and I discussed it with the CFO, but he was unable to do anything about it now because it's already out. There's a couple of things like the planning board that has only less than $1,000 allocated to it. I don't know if it would be enough to run our meetings. So I noticed that. And I also noticed there was $5,000 for legal that I didn't know what that was. I'm not sure what that is. So can you tell us about that?
I wish you would have told me something ahead of time. I would have asked today, but when they put forth it's a formula, so it's 26.25% of the total appropriations from last year, and they go through and they put enough money in there to get you through the first couple of months. Now, the planning board, you're paying my salary out of it, and any legal advertising for the reorganization. Any other business bills that come in, invoices are charged against escrow for the hearings that we hold.
Right, that's
from the applicants.
Applicant money, yeah.
So I think we're very close, probably enough to get us through till we introduce our budget, and we might have to do another 112 again.
Yeah, but 112 would have been, I think it was 24,000 last year, 112 would have been 2,000, so he didn't realize it. He had looked at some preliminary thing that was done the year before, and it was light then, so he just went with it. They didn't have time to look at it, so.
I'm sure we can get through it.
Well, there's concern. You don't want to have to not have, a meeting and have all kinds of applicants pounding on the door because we don't have enough money to pay the attorney in the budget.
Yeah, we should pay the attorney.
Not the planning board attorney.
Yeah, they do for the resolutions and stuff. Yeah, it's all charged against them. The hearings, charged to them.
I thought the attorney was paid out of the current fund.
Only if you do work.
Oh, he just processed a bunch of Tony's vouchers out of escrow.
Yeah, and one to do with those bills.
Yeah, well, if they're coming out of escrow, then we should be able to do it. Yeah, okay. That was a concern. Now, the other thing is $5,000 for legal, for unidentified legal. What's that?
I can only guess he's taken legal from last year and taken
Yeah, so anything that comes about, an invoice will be paid out of that.
So no one knows what it is.
No, it's just.
I didn't see it till I got here.
So that if you need to pay a bill, it gets charged to that. It's increased from the first, or I don't know, this could even be the third resolution, or I'm not sure of the second, but it just keeps us moving along in the process until the budget's adopted. We keep putting money into the pot, into these categories, until we adopt it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it's just a formula barring a mistake, so I'm going to make the motion. We adopt the temporary appropriation.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Clark?
Yes.
Mayor McCarthy?
No, because I have those questions still open. Okay, the rest of the consent agenda items 1 through 8. I would ask for a motion to approve them all.
I will make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, Ms. Money.
Sure. Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Clark?
Yes.
Mayor McCarthy?
Yes. Announcement, the Easter egg hunt will be held April 8th at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Municipal Park, rain date April 15th at 10 a.m. Special council workshop meeting, budget, is scheduled for Thursday, April 13th, 2017 at 7 p.m. Special council meeting, introduction of the municipal budget, is scheduled for Wednesday, April 19th, 2017. Now we go to council reports.
Just very briefly, just want to talk about EDAC. I attended county meeting last month, got some ideas of what we can do here in town. I would like to schedule a town EDAC meeting for later this month, early next month, which we are looking for members. And that's we can put on the website. There's a list of boards and committees where we're looking for members. I noticed that EDAC was not on that. Can EDAC be put on that? All right. That's it.
Okay, are you able to possibly get more people willing to, because EDAC hasn't done very much in the past, and
We do have some members. I was on it for the past 2 years, and we did the shopper's card. We've come up with some ideas, and I'd like to move forward with that.
it would be good to see it get a breath of life. I'd like to see that. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Wright.
My rec committee was, Lori's going to come up and give a little talk here.
How are you? First, thank you for always coming to our meeting and helping us in these endeavors. I also have Robin here, Eric, and Matt from the committee. What we've been trying to do, and I know we've talked about it a couple of times, we've come up here, especially now that you're about to do your budget, we are looking to see if we could set up recreation as its own trust fund. Now, I know that you still have to fund us with money, so you would have to set up a budget line item in the general fund and then, move money over to our trust account. But our theory behind that is that when we get donations, they're going in right now to MRNA, to municipal revenue not accounted for, and CFO Dobbs, we had a working relationship with her where she would, track it, and I know they do in the office when things come in, but we can't charge anything against those donations. So that goes into the revenue pile, and meanwhile we have our expenses over here. And, we as a committee try to keep track and make sure that we're not going over budget, that we're bringing in enough money. Last year I shared a budget line item with Brian, which he didn't really enjoy. So, if that's possible, and I don't know if we would need to go back and talk to the CFO, it would be possible to do that, because what we could do is, as we needed money, it could be transferred over from the general fund, I believe, and then as we get donations, we could put in there and we could charge against that first, and then maybe we won't need all the money that you allocate for us if we can raise a decent amount of money. And I'll come to the budget hearing.
Yeah, I think that was discussed with the auditor last year, and he said that it was possible to do that. So
I'll come to the budget meeting.
We'll put that on our do list and see if we can't get that done.
Which leads me to the next thing about getting money. We do have people who definitely would like to help out in the township and establish relationships with certain companies around here. They've come to us. We weren't able to do anything with them because we do need, because it's a township, we can't just pick who we want to use. We need to have a bidding process so it's fair. So we talked about it, and when I was up there, we were talking about it, and last year we weren't able to get it on board, but we would like to see if you guys would approve, either Katrina or Beth or a combination thereof, to look at putting together an RFP specifically for donations for recreational programs. We're thinking along the lines, if we could have people sponsor rides at Community Day, that would be a huge cost savings for us and of course for the town people, as well as and I know fireworks is on the bottom of the list, but that's also something, if somebody wanted to do that and spend their money and take complete credit for the fireworks, as well as doing other things like maybe expanding the pavilion so that we can keep those bathrooms open without having the pavilion open, putting a snack shack up by the quad baseball fields, doing some pool improvements. It's the 50th anniversary. Maybe we could get somebody to donate something nice like a new slide or patio furniture or something like that. But I know we weren't able to just enter into an agreement because some of these people want a mutually exclusive agreement with us, and we can't really do anything like that without the RFP process. But we would need our PA and the
I have to ask, mutually exclusive, you can't give them a mutual for everything.
No, it would be like the fireworks. Like, for instance, if somebody wanted to fireworks, it would be like,
it's going to have their name and nobody else's.
Their name, sponsored by whoever.
I'm going to defer to Katrina there.
You can do that through competitive contracting, which is kind of a hybrid between the formal RFP process and not using the RFP process, which you can't do. And so basically what it is you go out, you explain kind of, and you give criteria in evaluating people's offers. And so that way it's a little more fluid, and this way you can look and say, like, for example, when we had someone come and they want to give us an exclusive contract to put their banner at the town, and they offered this much money, and they offered this and that and the other thing, and they wanted these things in return. Someone else might have come and said, well, we want these things in return, which are different, and we'll give you this much money. It allows the town to not say dollars and cents, this one's more and this one's less. It kind of lets you look at the whole picture and see what's best for what you wanted. You have to set for criteria in your evaluation, but it allows you to, it's basically a bid, but a little bit easier. It's just the process to go out to this competitive contract is a little more complicated because you have to know what to ask for.
Oh, okay.
So, and you have to use your QPA to do that. But it definitely can be done.
Because we have the 50th anniversary of the pool celebration on May 27th, and I realize it would be nearly impossible to get this done and get anything in by then. But it would be nice if we opened it up this year and we're able to, maybe somebody could do something with the pool. Like, I'd love a splash pad. I don't know if somebody would like to pay for that. But in addition, it would really be a huge help to us for things like Community Day, which is August 26th. That does give us some time to maybe get people in to sponsor some rides so we can get bigger ones or get more of them.
I'm thinking, you did this at a smaller scale. I mean, people sponsor the movies at the
They
pool
just give
and
us
stuff,
money,
so
yeah.
this is a little bigger.
A little bigger, so they could, like, I won't give, like, say Corporation ABC wants to come in and sponsor, like, the rock climbing wall. We could do that and put their little sign up there.
Well, what, do we have to authorize Katrina to work on that?
Yes, set the night.
Not tonight?
No, it's set the night.
I told you, I only had one here.
Well, I'd like to
Can
make
we
a
do that
motion.
before we close tonight, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
You can, you could.
Do it now, or do
You
you
can
do
do
it?
that. If you
Well,
want,
if we
yeah.
can do it now, I'd like to make a motion. We have Beth and Katrina look into it. And
Work with the rec committee?
Yeah.
And I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Beth?
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
yes.
Council President Sire?
Yes.
Yes.
That was really, and just a reminder that we have the Easter egg hunt on the 8th or the 15th. We also have, like I said, the pool celebration that's really going to be gearing up right now, so you'll be seeing a lot of stuff. That's on May 27th, starting at 5. And then Community Day is slated to be held on August 26th. Thanks.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Yep, that's it. That's all I have.
That's yours, okay. Jeff?
A couple things. The LAA, please feel free to chime in. They have their third annual Tim Ballas Baseball Clinic, May 7th. I guess we're going to have pro players come in and give instructions to kids. And who do they contact for that? The Ballas Baseball Clinic,
For who?
the LAA.
I don't know. I don't know the major leaguers, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'd say call Kenny Lutz if you have a... And then the golf outing is coming. That's June 8th at Architects. That's a great event if people can turn out and support that. Our rain garden project, that was delayed a couple times. We had the rainstorm, then we had snow. It didn't go away for a while. But March 29th, Rutgers came out. They surveyed several sites at the pool and at the Strikers Firehouse. Brian Weeks met us at the pool. He pointed out considerations concerning utilities and the need to maintain access to the gate at the snack bar. Beth has expressed some concerns about kids trampling through these things after they get done. I don't know. We'll have to address that with Rutgers, see if make it obvious enough that it doesn't happen, and I don't know, we'll have to depend on some supervision there at the dances and stuff to make sure it doesn't happen. The other thing, I'm going to give you some litigation updates, and these are just purely factual. The asphalt plant, whether you're for, against, or neutral, oral arguments were held before the appellate division in Newark on Tuesday, March 28th. I understand that that really concludes, the lawyer's work. It's before the appellate court, and all that remains now is a decision from the judges. I can't speculate. I've heard different estimates, but it's up to the judges when they might issue something. McKay versus me and others. After 2 extensions, the mayor's attorney submitted his brief. I understand it was yesterday. Council's response is due May 4th, and the mayor's rebuttal is due 10 days thereafter. That means briefs will be before the court by mid-May, barring additional extensions. And then there's the possibility of oral arguments. If the decision is made to have oral arguments, then that would further extend the schedule, and when they're concluded, then it's before the judges. So that's just purely a factual report on the schedule. And that's what I have.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Let's see. Report of the engineer. Thank you, Mayor. Just have a few things to go over with the council tonight. As I indicated a couple of weeks ago in an email to you, the township was the recipient of a $380,000 grant from the Safe Routes to School Fund to help fund sidewalk and other pedestrian safety improvements on Belvedere Road as well as on Strikers Road. These are all locations adjacent to schools, so it's a tremendous grant award for the township. The first step really in the process, and we're waiting for some communication from the DOT, would be a kickoff meeting with the DOT whereby they outline the program and some of the steps that the township needs to take initially to show the DOT as well as the Federal Highway Administration that we can handle a federal aid grant. These monies from this particular program come from the federal government. It's not from the State Transportation Trust Fund. So Beth will probably get a communication in the next few weeks on that, which will set in motion what we need to do as a township to advance that project. So again, congratulations on the award for the township. I think that's going to be a
Thank you for your effort.
Yes. Thank you, Paul. So I think it's going to be big help here and a big safety improvement for the township. The second thing I just want to go over with you is I was talking to the chief of police about the number of accidents that have occurred recently on Route 22 in the area between Route 57 and the area where we have the mall. It was my suggestion that we write a letter to the Department of Transportation, and we have in that letter all the accident reports showing what is taking place on a regular basis there. So the chief has compiled all the accident reports for me, and I'm going to be writing a letter on your behalf to the commissioner at this point to try to get some attention from the Department of Transportation.
Is it in the area that will be altered by the Ingersoll project? Does it fall into that area?
It does.
Yes.
It does. So I still think it's to our advantage to report this to the DOT.
Yes.
And so they have
copy me on that?
Absolutely.
Copy all the council. Sure.
The third item I just want to review with you, there was a meeting here in the municipal building last Friday that had to do with coming up with a capital budget for the township, and we talked in that meeting about a number of capital priorities, including those having to do with the roads in the township. And I reported at that meeting to our CFO that we had actually done a lot of paving in this township over a 5 to 7 year period. The pace of that has slowed quite a bit due to the economy. And we talked about what we needed to do to revive that effort in certain areas that needed to be addressed in that effort. I also had reported to the members at that meeting that I had prepared an analysis of various roadways probably 7 years ago, and perhaps maybe that analysis needed to be updated, and that's really where I'm leading to. Does the council want me to update the report? And this would just be the roads we haven't treated yet. We've treated a lot of roads, improved a lot of roads in this township from 2004 to 2011. But there are roads that were left behind. Do you want me just to address those in this report?
This will be a short report, just kind of give us what you have.
Yes, it will be an update.
Expensive.
No.
I'm agreeing. It's we're looking at a 5-year projection. You know our budget, so a 5-year horizon. We don't have to catalog every.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at anything that we paved. I'm just going to look at the ones that were left behind and use some of the data that we compiled before and try to get you an estimate for planning purposes here.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. That's all I have to report, Mayor. Thank you
very much. Okay. Chief of Police.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have a couple programs and events I'd like to announce for the month of April that the police department will be actively be involved in. First one begins in April, has already started, April 1st through the 21st. It's an initiative on a statewide crackdown on distracted driving. The campaign's called You Drive, You Text, You Pay. So the targeted enforcement will be the handheld phones and texting and numerous other distractions that are in the vehicle. Secondly, the Family Guidance Center of Warren County will be hosting an event tomorrow, April 6th, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's entitled The Truth About Heroin. It's an educational program. It'll be available to the community members. First responders will also be recognized tomorrow evening for their life-saving efforts throughout the county. So it'll be a great informational piece for somebody who's interested in gaining some resources. There'll be a lot of resources there for that purpose.
Where is that meeting, Chief?
This is going to be at the Warren County Community College. Sorry.
Community College. The main college or Phillipsburg?
Main college,
okay.
Yes, up in Washington.
Yeah.
And then, again, April 13th, Warren County Community College, they'll be hosting a criminal justice career fair. Lopatcong Police will be involved with that, just being present, being able to provide information for the younger folks in college right now looking for information on pursuing a career in criminal justice. Again, there's going to be some other county or resources throughout the county involved with the event. I think it'll be a success, and it's also open to the community that would want to stop
That's
in
the 19th?
for questions.
Did you say?
That's going to be April 13th.
Oh,
I believe
13th.
it's a Thursday,
And at the time?
and it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.,
And the other one, the time? I didn't get that in my notes.
7 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
And that's tomorrow. And then lastly, we're going to host Operation Take Back here in the municipal building in the police department. It's a program nationwide. It's going to be April 29th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. What it is anybody who has old medications laying around that they want to get rid of, they don't want them getting into the wrong hands, or just simply need to dispose of them, they can bring them to us. We'll make sure they get disposed of properly. This is a program sponsored by the DEA. So we...
That's the 20?
I believe it's going to be a Saturday, the 29th.
29th, okay.
From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay. That's a good thing. You usually have to drive up to Belvedere to drop it off.
Yeah, they're becoming more prevalent, the drop-off boxes, but I know the DEA sponsors this biannually, I think, once in the spring, once in the fall usually,
Yeah.
and we're going to try to jump on board and take advantage of that.
Good item.
My March monthly report, we had a total of 938 logged incidents and activities throughout the month. Some of those incidents occurred with 8 reports of theft, 16 reports of disorderly conduct or harassment, 3 reports of disputes or civil matters. We had 7 reports of criminal mischief, 1 assault, 2 burglaries, and 9 criminal and other arrests. The traffic report for the month, we had a total of 25 issued moving violations with 33 non-moving violations. And then our motor vehicle crashes stayed pretty consistent with last month. We had 14 crashes with a total of 3 injuries reported. That's my report for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Chief?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
Mayor, I have one announcement that I think everybody needs to hear,
Well,
only because we've been working on it for a number of years. But we finally, and this is Lopatcong's 3rd time, we received our 5-year community forestry management plan approval. This takes us from 2017 to 2021.
Was that you, Matt? No, you're not?
now we get money for that, right?
Yes.
And it also saves you from liability,
Yes.
which is the most important.
Yes. Well, excellent news on that. And we need now to approve the department reports. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next thing is payment of bills. We got the bills. Looks like we got $1,488,000. No, that's not right. Every time I do this, it looks different. $1,286,969.12 of bills, according to this list in front of me. Of that, $1,073,000 and change is for the school. So, okay, so that's the bill list, $1,286,969.12. Do I have a motion to approve the bill list?
Beth, I'll ask first, as I always do. The mayor's legal bills are not on the bill list, correct? I'll make the motion to approve the bills list.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. And Mr. Pryor's are, right? Just for, you make a second. And,
I don't see them on there, but they usually
all in
are.
favor? Oh, no, it's bill list. Roll call.
Councilman Leo.
Yes.
Councilman Ray.
Yes.
Councilman Pryor.
Yes.
And
Yes. Okay, now we'll have a motion to go into audience participation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
How about a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We're in audience participation. Mr. Olszewski.
Olszewski, Highlands Way. Good evening. Quick question, two actually. First, you guys didn't make any motions on the Illusion Maker program. It's funded by grant, that's correct, right? It doesn't cost the town anything. So
As far as I know, they
So-
didn't get a motion though.
are we doing something else with the grant money? And if we do something else, what will we be doing and who's in charge of picking what we're doing?
We have almost $25,000 from 216, and there's a whole host of things we can do. We can use 25% for equipment. We can use 25% for storm sewer work. We have administrative costs. We can make donations to the Cub Scouts if they do things. So there's no need to do the Illusion Maker every year.
So I'm not saying
There's
that.
plenty of things to spend money
Sure.
on.
But
and,
somebody has to organize now what happens with the grant money. You guys are going to be presenting then your ideas, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Second question on behalf of the planning board. Quick question. We had Mr. Gardner here the other day, and he indicated that he is talking to you guys about projects, and we're asking for. I spoke to Eric about a joint session so we can be all on one page.
That's all in closed session and involves litigation, and that's a matter for council.
Now, I know that when he was here, you guys invited Gary Van Vliet to be part of the closed session. So I think maybe you guys want to invite Eric, so at least that we have some insights as of what's going on.
No.
The purpose is not to invite someone in so they can tell other people. The purpose was to invite him in for his knowledge and historical background. Well, the council can invite whoever they want into executive session. It doesn't change that it's executive session. But if what you're saying is to invite Eric in so he can tell the rest of you is exactly what Joe's saying.
That's,
is that
I
that's
don't
not
know.
right.
I'm not sure why you heard that or how you heard that.
You just said, let Eric in so the rest of us know what you just said.
So I think that somebody on the planning board should be having some.
At the time when it's ready for the planning board to know about it, the council intends to have me write a very comprehensive memo explaining and detailing everything, and perhaps a joint session will be appropriate. But at this point, we still have a second half of this litigation involving another
Cool.
party, so we're still working on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lori Chesla, 12 Meadowview Drive. I just want to thank Paul for yet another wonderful grant. Thanks for all you do. That's really a substantial one that's going to make a big difference for the sidewalks.
A good group effort. Beth helped out, the chief helped out.
Oh, great.
Rainey Roccarelli helped out, a lot of people helped out.
Thank you. That's going to
grant,
really make
thank you.
a big difference. And if we could, combine it with what Recreation's trying to do with Smith Road and stuff, I think we can really make the town a lot safer for the kids. As far as with the Clean Communities grant, is there a possibility to get additional, like garbage receptacles up at the park?
Yeah, you can't put them on private property,
Okay.
but that is an eligible cost, and I would rather spend money on that this year than the illusion maker, so.
Because that is a concern. I know it's been a concern of Bill
Yes.
Christian with the veterans to make sure that we can
Right.
keep that clean up around there, and it'll be easier if they have that. The only other thing I had was with the mall, and I know you probably can't say much about the tax appeal. I don't know if it's going to be as bad as the last one, but I do know that just recently I sent an article to Mayor Kern over in Pohat. It was about like the multi-use of malls now, where it's not just about shopping and they're doing other things. And I know they do them over in Pennsylvania, like they have the free fall, the start, whatever, all those places, laser tag, and anything like that. For EDAC, I don't know, it might be worth it if you wanted to reach out and talk to him, because maybe you guys can sit down and see if we could get something like that. It seems like that's the way they're going now, is you need to get people in for reasons besides shopping. And I know everybody here would love if they expanded their food court too, so.
Yeah, I repeat this, the only part of the mall that's in Lopat is a portion of
Right.
Sears. And Sears,
And I don't know how they're gonna do.
they're still open, I think, right?
So. It seems to be the trend now to get people, like if you drop the kids off for laser tag, then people either go have something to eat and do a little shopping, so.
I had a conversation with the attorney for the tax appeal, and although it doesn't involve the years that are under appeal, our discussion was about this new connector road that I believe is before the planning board.
Right.
And I would believe that that could help
It could help,
energize
yes.
the mall,
Mhm.
because there's uses that the people who live in Sycamore Landing could take advantage of, which might be some of those uses, and they will have to get on the highway to
Right,
use
and
it.
you
So
just go right over.
that won't help us with the
This
years
one.
that are under appeal.
Right.
However, we did substantially reduce their appeal, so I believe that that's why the town didn't wait to hire an appraiser, and they're going to, they're fighting, defending this tax appeal because we did just give them such a reduction. This is a new attorney who didn't file the last time, so that's why I had a discussion with him today to kind of give him the lay of the land.
Oh, okay. All right.
What the town refunded in the past,
Right.
where we are now, and now. But perhaps the future, if they're willing to get a bigger assessment later for what's to come, perhaps we can.
Something like that, yeah. Because I think hopefully Sycamore Landing will help with them all. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of talk about malls are now the new dying breed across the countries, and maybe if we could get some mixed use in there, there's definitely need,
like
even like something like we were talking about, like with the
CVS.
dome. Do
Or even
something.
like a CVS.
CVS.
There's 246 apartments next
Right,
door.
you
They
could use
get
that.
to CVS without going on the highway. That might be beneficial. Or they may choose that gym over the
Over
gym
the other-
up
yeah.
street.
There's a few gyms in there.
Yeah, there's a gym in there already, and the kids love that one. That one, I know. That they definitely go there. But it might be worth reaching out to him. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion, Brian?
This is in regards to Lori with the receptacles up at the park. I don't know if giving more receptacles is the answer there, all right? Go up to the park right now, there's 10 bottles of water sitting 15 feet from that garbage can. We need to somehow get the awareness to the public. It's your park. Treat it as it's your park.
It's funny that you mention that, because education and enforcement are part of this grant as well.
Yeah, they're not throwing it in the garbage can.
Signage, all of that is stuff we can do.
They could have walked 10 feet through it in the garbage can. It was easier just to throw it. And they're doing it on every field. And I put signs up, you know what I mean? There's some signs around that say keep your community clean that are there now that they haven't seen. But somehow we've got to get some.
Do we need
something
to
out of
cite
that.
people for doing it?
That's not my thing. That would be
Enforcement,
It's tough to enforce
the
that.
chief will tell you on traffic, enforcement is the most effective way of slowing people down, and
Well,
I
I think the biggest people that we can impact is our sports. All right, that's our next generation's coming up, and we need to, as coaches or adults, parents, we need to start telling our kids to do this.
I agree. Police the field before you leave.
You know what I mean? And we build that as cleanliness is your part.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with putting recyclables out, but if they're just going to not be full, what's the reason to put them out? So.
Yes, sir.
My name is John Betts. I'm with the Wrigley Gardens Tennis Organization. There's some in the rent control statutes I'd like to recess 173.8. Meetings and hearings of rent leveling board complaints resolutions. I would just like to read a few lines. It says, the rent leveling board shall hold regular meetings every other month on the third Thursday at 7 p.m. Meetings shall be held during the following months: January, March, May, July, September, November. Special meetings may be called by the chairperson or by a majority of the members on 3 days, within 3 days, on 3 days' notice to all board members. The public shall be notified at least 2 days in advance. All meetings shall be open to the public and subject to the provisions of open meetings law. And then, that's just one thing I'd like to say. And then I would also like to refer to those statements in that ordinance that the frequency of meetings for the rent leveling board have not been always so frequent. The last meeting that we had back in that was scheduled back in March, and it was canceled. There were some members of the public that would have liked to have attended that. I have contacted Lloyd Huff and asked her about that. She explained it one way. I've heard it another way.
I can speak to that.
And that's why I'm saying this now. Okay, please.
That meeting was canceled upon my recommendation to Lloyd. There was one matter to be held on the agenda. It's a matter with a landlord. We're still working it out, so nothing was going to be resolved at that meeting.
Okay.
So I recommended that the board not pay me to attend the meeting and pay everyone else to be there, and instead hold off, because I felt we had sufficiently gotten to a certain point and there were no complaints pending, so they canceled the meeting.
I understand that now. I did express to her that I noted on the website that the next meeting wasn't scheduled until sometime in July. We would like to request a meeting in May.
There's a May.
Yeah, on the webpage, the Lopatcong Township, it wasn't listed there. So there is a meeting. It should be May 18th.
If there isn't, no one has told me.
Okay, May 18th then is most likely Thursday, May 18th. Another thing is that there's a need for interrelationship between the township, the tenants, and the landlord. And in the past rent loving chairwoman, she presented the options of acting also as a liaison to some extent between the tenants, the landlord, and the municipality, and getting things done that we as tenants needed done in a timely manner, and in a timely manner. She would be there at 10 p.m. at night. Not saying everybody should be at 10 p.m., but she would be there at 10 p.m. at night to solve heating problems, leakage problems, and things of that nature by calling the manager, sale management. And it worked out very well for that period of time. I would suggest that if it's possible, that the rent living board chairwoman do that now. I approached her once with my telephone number and a guide on the rental rights of tenants in the state of New Jersey. She got that. She had my telephone number. Then on another occasion, I presented her with our sale management's CFO's telephone number and extension, suggested she carry on some kind of discourse with him. That's just what I did tonight. I did talk to her before the meeting. Katrina answered the question that I had posed to her. And then the last thing is that there are still only 2 people on the rent loving board. That has been 2 years of its existence, and 2 people equals a quorum, but 3 people is what we would like to have as tenants in Lopatcong on that board. And that's all I can say. So as long as we can get that meeting on May 18th, that would be very, very good for us. Thank you. Thanks, Council.
Mr. Betts, if I could just suggest, if the tenants of Wrigley have a specific issue that they have for a meeting, perhaps they want to let Phyllis know, so she can let the board know. Because if, for example, you guys were coming to the meeting to tell us about something, we didn't know that. We only knew about the one issue on our agenda, so perhaps we wouldn't have canceled the meeting if we would have known you had an issue that was in need of being heard. Now,
Okay.
you may have had an issue that they said, well, could wait, they're not going to pay me to come to the meeting just
Yes.
because you
Well,
want
I understand that.
But if you do, in the future, I would recommend you let Phyllis know so she can let the board and myself know, and we'll keep that in mind when we're canceling meetings.
Okay. All right, Katrina, thank you. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually have one comment to make, Mayor. I'd like to go back to Resolution 1757 on the temporary appropriations. Technically, that's your charge. You should know the budget items. If you have any questions, that's what your CFO is there for. They're in often enough every week to get him to answer those questions.
You didn't have it until today.
And I would suggest, since we are working on the budget, that you reach out to the chair people of all your boards to let them know to get their budget request in.
I thought they had done so. We'll have to work on looking at that again. Okay,
Sure. About library. There's an important thing that should be known about libraries. I think most library goers know this about libraries. There's always the options, whichever library you go to utilize interlibrary loan, and that waives off access to materials between individual libraries, public, college, state, county, so that in your decision-making processes you could add that weight in the consideration of the interlibrary loan access.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I think both the county and Phillipsburg have some form of that.
Yes, they do.
Phillipsburg also implemented something new to me at any rate. You can just download books over your iPad, and you borrow it for 2 weeks, you hit a button, and you send it back. So, a lot of new stuff going on.
Okay.
sure is.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, a couple of small, motion to come out of public session. Nobody else has a question.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I had just gotten a couple of, I guess, complaints you call them, concerning abandoned houses or unoccupied houses up in Country Hills. And the people were concerned that made the area look, blighted a little bit, and then that some of these properties were not being maintained by the banks or whoever's, who's ever responsible for that. And we've brought this up before, but we never really got to a conclusion on it. I would like to see that we have some kind of an inventory done of these, and so we know what they are. And we maybe make up a binder that has a page for each house that's like that, so that we can track them a little bit. And when people complain, maybe we can get in touch with the bank or the mortgage company, whoever's responsible, and get the thing taken care of. Because we don't need this type of thing out there with a lot of empty houses and lawns unmowed and broken down lawnmowers laying out on the in front of the house. So I'd like to just put that out there for the council.
I recommend that if you receive a complaint regarding the condition of a house, you should report it to your zoning officer. So
We do.
Look, it actually goes to the tax collector and the zoning officer.
Yeah, I will
The
say,
police department does follow up on complaints.
I know John Fritz was active because I was involved with a few, and he posts things on the door, and I thought he was pretty up on that.
Well, since he left, I guess it's kind of come. Nobody's really picked it up.
Well, he only left,
Yeah, you have a new section.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't.
What?
I'm sorry?
There's a section of the ordinance that says creditor responsibility for vacant and abandoned properties.
Yeah, I know we have that, but we don't have maybe a robust enough mechanism or procedure to trigger it.
You just have to.
Well, we're between people, but trust me, John Fritz took care of that.
And the process is a long process. There's certain notifications that have to be given. There's so many days between notifications before.
This new ordinance that Paul is speaking of is a little bit easier, and sometimes just a letter, perhaps from the town. In other towns, they do it from my office. The penalty is $1,500 a day. But it has to be bank owned. It has to be abandoned. I mean, there's a serious penalty that goes along with it. So I've only done it once in another town, and I got a response very quickly. Now, did they clean it up to the standard we would have liked them to? Well, not necessarily, but So it could be,
So is that.
we could prepare a standard letter, and we can either give it to the zoning officer to send out, we can give it to Beth to send out, but it meets the criteria, which the zoning officer would have to determine that it meets kind of, there's like a checklist of 12 or
Right.
15
Maybe
items
we
in the
could
ordinance. Then
do that,
we could get
prepare the
that out.
letter, have that, which the thing would just be ticked.
I will prepare
Just
well, you know, you don't even have to say which items you've chosen, you just have
For
to
the
have
file.
met those.
the file.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I just wanted to add to that,
Chief.
that we currently do maintain a running log of the vacant properties.
Oh, we have it.
We keep an eye on those properties, and we take care of the complaints as they roll in. I know in the summertime, the length of grass is usually one of the biggest issues, or snow accumulation in front of the houses. So we trying to contact the proper owner is always an issue, because the banks sell these things off, and it's kind of like chasing your tail sometimes.
Yeah, this was, I think the last one was Jade Lane.
Okay.
Up there, and the windows were broken.
But yeah,
You may be aware of them, but
Now they have
I'll
a,
know how to try with you.
it doesn't always work. It sounds good, but it doesn't always work. They have an ordinance, statute that came about before this that said that once a bank files foreclosure, they have to send a notice to the tax collector, which Rachel will. That's why she gets noticed on these.
Well, they send it to me, I just give it to her.
To her, to hold
She works.
And they have to give, if they're an out-of-state bank, they have to give an agent that you can contact. So
Yes.
they are required to give contact. Now, if they sold it, but then they're supposed to give new notice. So
Sure.
we should be able, we can hold someone responsible if they
No.
didn't do what they were supposed to.
and a lot of these times, these the owners of these real estate are out Colorado, or
Yes.
nobody really accessible to us.
Yes.
So trying to get a hold of people is pretty tough.
We're all aware that there are complaints, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's one of the points. I was getting a lot of phone calls, actually, even from council. Stonehenge Drive, I'm not gonna give you an address. There was a rug floating around. All right. The public brought it to my attention, brought it everything, we did things, all right?
Rug, did you say?
Yeah, he ripped the rug out of the house and threw it in the yard. And it was blowing. The only reason I was able to get involved is because we're right next to the road and it's blowing into the road. So I went over and asked the guy to at least move it out of his road. He took it, laid it out in front of his yard, completely out.
That's
So
nice.
I just want to let you know I did address it, but that's as far as I can go. But that's something that should be addressed. So, all right.
I'll prepare a sample letter and then maybe
Yes.
give a little outline on what I think is the best way to get through it.
Yeah, because apparently there's more houses that are attaining this unfortunate status. Beth and I have discussed this, but it's like, I don't know. All right. Another item that came to my attention, Phillipsburg's mayor is approaching the county to reduce the traffic speed as it approaches the new high school entrance. And he assumes that we'll be with him in this. Have you heard of this, Chief?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah. He sent me a letter.
We're the ones that made the request. We were waiting for Phillipsburg to actually submit the letter that they finally submitted recently.
Yeah.
So we're the ones looking for it, so,
So we're okay on that?
yes.
All right.
We just have to follow up now with the county.
Yeah. It wouldn't hurt to do that, I'm sure. All right. So now we can adjourn from the public section, but we have to go back into executive session, right?
Correct. Two matters.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to adjourn the public session. And
Just again, for the record, it's contractual regarding the LAA and personnel regarding the police. Action may be taken, I don't imagine will be more than a half an hour, but I'm not good at estimating stuff. If it's more than a half an hour, if you wish to wait, someone will come out in the hall and tell you and give you an estimate of how much longer we will be.
yeah, we just didn't have enough time the first half hour that we get. So that's what's going on. So I'll take a motion to adjourn and go into executive.
Not really adjourn, right? We just go in a closed
That's
session.
right. A motion to go into close.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Motion to come out of executive session. I make that motion. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
And you were going to make a motion to approve the LAA contract and authorize the mayor to sign it after the LAA is done.
All right, motion to do that.
I make a motion to approve the LAA contract and authorize the mayor to sign it after the LAA signs it. Or executes it. Second? All in favor? Aye. Mr. Wright. Now I'll make the motion to adjourn. We good, Katrina?
Yeah.
All right, I'll make the motion. Second? All in favor?
I feel like you're out in the